Welcome to the Blind Apex Podcast, where amateur club racers tune in to get faster.
I'm your host, Con John Turk, and on this episode of the Blind Apex Podcast, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. I'm actually re-recording this intro, which is terrible, but we're going to talk about being a regional series leader. We're going to talk about building a new car and maybe reigniting some flames for being back out there on the track. And we'll get into some other stuff. Joining me, the bearded wonder, track dad to a bunch of degenerate Honda Challenge racers, and a self-proclaimed professional car washer, Micheal Young. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, buddy. I'm glad you finally got me here.
Well, I mean, it's your episode. It's episode 51 for anybody who cares. That's your current car number.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. And your previous car, which is actually right near us. We're recording from the Shine and Line Studios today here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Is 501. So as if you're a listener, you can guess he's going to have episode 501, if we make it that long. So
I'm sure we'll do just fine. You'll do just fine. So.
We'll see. But let's talk a little bit about your racing background and what got you onto track, or what got you into cars and then what got you onto the track.
So I've been into cars, probably just before I turned 16 and got my license. I never really knew what kind of style or, make of car I was into. But so my mom bought me my first car, and it ended up being a 89 CRX SI, red. Very nice car for a 16-year-old, I think. It was either that or a Volkswagen, and that could have went a completely different direction.
Solid choice, Mom.
Yeah, so she did well. So from then it was just, bolting on parts, me and my buddies hanging out at the car wash in high school. And then just progressed, and eventually I built a show car. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I had an EG coupe show car, painted nice, never saw the rain, drove it to car shows. Eventually I wanted to start tracking. So I bought my, one of my friend's Type R's, which is the current Type R race car that I have now. My first track event was with Type R Expo at
Old school
CMP in 2011.
Okay.
From there, my first event with NASA was November or October of 2011. And then I did a full season starting in 2012 doing DE stuff in the Type R. Went through the ladder in DE, started doing time trials a little bit just to progress.
Right.
And then 2016 was my rookie year in Honda Challenge. And that was mainly thanks to Naveen. He said he wanted to race Honda Challenge. I guess he had been talking to Bradfield on the side. I didn't know Bradfield at the time.
Right.
But I didn't believe him, So I was like, yeah, you're going to build a car for for Honda Challenge. Sure. Well, when he started getting his cage done and, buying parts and stuff, I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to do this. And then another buddy, PB, came along, and that's actually whose car I own now. That's the 51. I bought it from him. I guess we all agreed we were going to do this. And 2016, we went to comp school, and I've been racing ever since.
So 2016, you're in comp school. I went through comp school in 2019. So in those 3 years, we were up to a dozen, maybe 15 cars, fields.
Oh, yeah, it was swift. We didn't anticipate the growth. We really just wanted to go race cars. And, it became a thing, and meeting new people, and, finding people that were doing DEs and Hondas, and it just spiraled, which is good. So,
yeah, a big theme on the podcast is the bigger the field, the faster everyone gets, and they get there faster.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, racing faster people makes you faster, I think. I mean, I saw a memory on Facebook and it said something about like my best time at VIR, my personal best was like a 2:16.9 or something. And, you know, back then I thought I was setting the world on fire. And, you know, now if you're not running 12s or, you know, getting to 12s, you're
slow.
I mean, even 12s in the Mid-Atlantic at VIRs, you're not keeping up with the front runners. I mean,
right.
So, but yeah, I mean, it grew a lot and it was great. It still is great.
It still is great. You guys got to stop having kids so we can keep racing.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. Some people they can manage both, you know, the home life with kids and driving, racing. You know, some people just take a break. You know, I think that's what happened this year. You know, we had kind of a small showing of people, and you know, some people were buying houses, other people were having kids. You know, whatever.
Some people bought a GT3 Porsche.
Yeah. you know, we're not going to name any names, but Holden's an all right guy.
Yeah.
You know. But it'll come back around. I mean, we were hot and heavy, you know, and I couldn't ask for anything more as a, you know, the series leader for Mid-Atlantic, you know, to have this group of guys that, you know, shell out the money to be there every weekend, you know, and I understand taking a break. I mean, I only raced once this year and then the end of the season in the new car, but that was because I didn't have a new car budget and a racing budget. So I built the new car. Next year, I'm going to do a full season. So
nice. So let's talk a little bit about you trolling. You guys trolled the paddock for all the Honda kids. Is that a recommended strategy for people who are trying to grow their class?
I mean, yeah, you definitely want to, you know, approach people, you know, and, you know, just get to know them and let them know that, you know, if they need help at the track, if they need parts, you know, kind of want to approach them that way first. You know, you don't want to attack them and be like, hey, make your car a race car, get out of here, you know, but, finding people that are at the track that are driving your car, like, you know, Hondas or whatever, or BMWs, whatever you're trying to grow. That's definitely the best way to grow, you know, your class. Teaching them new things, helping them out, and then bringing them into the circle. And eventually people, they'll get there, you know, they'll do it. And the ones that don't want to do it, I mean, that's fine. They just come and hang out. I mean, it is a very expensive thing that we do.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's not for the faint of heart for sure when it comes to spending money, but you know, if you can afford it, if they can afford it, they will definitely do it.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about bringing them into the fold. Our group can be slightly rowdy.
Oh, there's zero doubt about that.
But we're not all rowdy.
No, but the 50% that are rowdy, it's rowdy enough for the whole group.
Right.
That's for sure. I mean, there's 4 of us going down to Sebring in December next month, and I'm sure they haven't heard people screaming Honda Challenge at their dinner banquet probably all year.
Right.
Well, there'll be 4 of us, and we're going to try to be loud and, you know, get some recognition. So I think it'll be a blast.
So that trip you're going down to Sebring in December, is that a points race for Florida? It's a NASA Florida race, right?
Yeah, it's a points race for them, but there's 0 Honda Challenge guys signed up for this event. I mean, it is close to Christmas. I know a lot of people are not traveling, you know, when it comes to, you know, that close to Christmas or spending that kind of money, that close to Christmas. But we decided, you know, we sort of made this plan and was like, you know, let's just go, you know.
Right.
So, but it is a points race for them, but we're not going to be messing anybody up. So,
yeah, I was less worried about you messing them up. I would assume their point stuff would be pretty solidified by now.
Yeah.
And then,
well, funny story. The last event at VIR, I kind of got in the middle of 2 Spec 3 guys that were racing for the championship. Winner takes all. And I was racing for first. They were racing for first. And, you know, Hunter and I kind of got in the mix of them and kind of cost John McAvoy the championship. luckily I know him.
Right.
He's also a customer of mine, hopefully still. But I mean, maybe next time we just ask, hey, you guys got any close battles going on? Or, if you're going to, play with other people, but he took it well. I mean, he's won plenty of championships. So,
yeah. I'm sure his trophy wall has plenty of them on there. So,
yeah.
Who won? Ford, I think.
Ford won. And of course, when I was talking to him and McAvoy at the same time, Ford asked me what my PayPal was, so just taking little shots. But no, it was good. I mean, I gave McAvoy a bump on the back straight, trying to push him back into the race, meanwhile trying to stay ahead of Hunter.
Right.
And, I knew that I got in his way, so I tried to give it back.
That's awful generous of you, as fast as Hunter is on the straightaway. So.
Yeah, with his Learjet wagon. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that thing is a missile. But
yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's get into this. You've talked about both cars a little bit. Mm-hmm. So we have the Type R. That's 501. Maybe it'll get featured in 9 more years whenever that episode comes out.
I'll still have it, so it doesn't matter.
So that's the car you HPD'd in. Mm-hmm. You built it for H2 to race with Naveen and Ryan and PB.
Right.
And then the rest of us found you and decided to come play. So let's talk about the car. What's a basic Type R build in Honda Challenge H2?
Like, are we talking money-wise? Or, I mean, right now...
We can leave the money out of it. I mean... Everybody knows everybody has different level budgets. Yeah. And
I mean, I sold a bunch of parts off of the car because it was a street car to sort of pay for the racing setup, some fancy JDM stuff. But back then, I got into it for relatively cheap, just nothing crazy. I didn't have big money for suspension or anything. Just, some Fortune 500s then. It has Fortune 510s now. But, I mean, you can do it on stock brakes with some good brake pads, good brake lines, good brake fluid, intake header exhaust. I mean, people think that you need to go crazy to get into racing. Safety equipment's the most important part.
Right.
And then just to get you out on track. Yes, some of our guys they were fast out of the bag. Holden, Chris, these dudes came out their rookie years and killed it.
Yep.
I mean, I had fun my rookie year because everybody I was racing was green. Like Baker came out a couple times, I think, but racing Ryan, PB, and Naveen, we were all rookies. So we were learning. So it worked out, but you don't need to have a blueprinted mapped car to start racing.
No.
It's you just don't need that, Of course you wouldn't want to go out there with a single cam or anything, but I'm sure it's been done. But the Type R is it was a good platform to start with. And but of course now every B series part is $10 million. So
yeah, it was much cheaper for you in 2016 or 2011, whenever you got the car, because there weren't $5,000 C5 engines. They were maybe $1,500 back then. I
think I got my last swap that I bought from a JDM importer was $2,500, maybe.
With the trans?
Did not come with the trans.
So just the engine?
Yeah, so still kind of expensive, but even nowadays, I mean, it's more than that.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's been a great car, but it was time to reinvest myself into something else and reignite, like you said, the fire, the passion, and move on to a different setup, which I did not want to do, which I actually...
And he's enjoying it way more than he wants to admit.
It's true. So for anybody out there, I was the biggest anti-K-Series person ever, at least in my opinion. But,
Chris has that torch now. It's fine.
Right. I pass it on to Chris Michaels. But, in my mind, it's boring. They don't sound good. blah, 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 whatever, it's just like having an iPhone, and then you have people that have the other thing. Sorry if I just offended everybody, but,
Sorry, Brian Mang.
yeah, Brian Mang. But yeah, so I finally decided, all right, this year I'm going to do a K-swap in the Civic, that I bought from my buddy. I I still really don't know much about it. I didn't know anything, what K24 this, K20 that, Z3, A2, all the codes. And, I'm still trying to learn, B series was much easier. So,
Oh, yeah.
But, so we're in a K series now. And I have to say it is such a blast to drive. It might not be super fast, but the torque makes it feel like it's a rocket ship.
You're plenty fast enough already. Mike's being a little humble here.
Well, I'll tell you what, with my Type R motors, I was never able to get above the horsepower cap. Like always, I was just right there.
Mm-hmm.
So this car finally, tuned over the horsepower cap. We had to bring it back a little bit. So I set it at 181, just so I can be 1 horsepower over.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll compensate with the weight. But I was so happy to have an engine that I finally made over the cap. So it was very impressive. Darren Ardinger helped me out so much. So, but yeah.
Yeah, he may not tune anybody else on a Haltech, but
yeah. Well, we definitely put some miles on the engine, on the dyno, trying to figure different things out. And, some of it was wiring issues. And, I tried to do the simple plug and play stuff. Of course, I emailed Hybrid and said I need a list of everything that I need. And while some stuff I didn't really need, it was the easy button, and I don't have a lot of time because I'm very busy. So the easy button is what I needed. So
self-employed problems.
Yeah. As well as I do, I work a lot.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm at the shop. So you could, work all day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Sunday and I'm working. So
he has to pay for that Sebring time. So
yeah, it's going to be fun. Actually, the price for Sebring, we're doing a full race weekend. We got a garage. Each of us got a garage, and we're doing a double down just on Saturday, DE. And it was only like $925
for the garage, double down Saturday and racing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty, so it's going to cost obviously some gas and stuff to get down there.
Some gas.
Right. And we'll sleep in the truck. I'm not going to bring the RV. I'll bring the truck this time. So, sleeping in the trailer and, that's all fun of it, but it saves money and it'll be a memory. So,
yeah, this is not your first time at Sebring, right?
No, I actually finished third. I finished third in championships there in 2018,
National championships.
National championships. I finished third. And it doesn't matter that there was only 4 cars racing. I had to beat one person, and that was Ryan Bradfield, and it was fun. But the track is a lot of fun. It's bumpy, but it's not hateful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but if you can ever get there, bucket list track at least, go there one time. If you never go back, whatever.
It's a World War II retired airstrip, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And the transitions and stuff from pavement to concrete is, it's interesting, and the layout is fun. And like I said, we went to Coda, bucket list track. I can't ever say that I will make a trip back there.
Right.
But it's one and done. You can put the sticker on the back of your truck or whatever. And, that's what it's all about. So
that was a long trip for a lot of folks.
Oh yeah.
I think there was a big contingent from Mid-Atlantic that went all the way down to Coda. So
yeah. And I think we finished pretty strong then too. It was, I don't know, four Mid-Atlantic guys in the top 5 or 6, top 6, I think. So it was pretty good.
I know Chris finished second. Mm-hmm. He was wearing that hat for a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He did really well, especially in a B16. So
Yeah, he must have been wringing that thing's neck at Coda trying to get it up to speed.
Yeah, he's a good driver. I mean, some people just have it,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I don't think I have it. I always blame the car, but I'm starting to get a little bit more confident, and hopefully we can have some good racing next year, not just being on an island. You and I will battle, I'm sure.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
You're getting a little too fast for me, Mikey.
Well, we'll see. I mean, but speed breeds speed. So,
Yep.
I mean, if you're
I have no
chasing me,
choice.
it'll make you faster and
Absolutely.
so on and so forth. Brent and I used to be on the same level, and he accelerated big time. And
No, he has the same engine you do
yeah, I mean,
now.
yeah, it definitely makes a difference. The K series stuff is, the torque is astronomical. I can't say enough about it.
You hear that, rules committee?
No, I hear it.
For those that don't know, being the regional series director in Honda Challenge also puts you on the rules committee. So
Yes, I am on the rules committee, and it is it's a job, to say the least. No, we don't work 24 hours around the clock, but some people would like to think that we do. And I like to think that I'm fair in my decision making, even in the region, doing compliance and stuff. But, when you get a rules request and, there might be some things you need to work out, to get an answer. But you got to get all the guys online at the same time. We try to do like a conference call. We're in all different time zones. We all have different jobs. It's very difficult, but we've worked it out, but sometimes it takes a while to get an answer.
right.
And then if you're split, then you're going to argue about it. Should we pass this rule or not? Who does it affect? There's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Yeah.
And then there's also the thing of if you send me a rules request and you want to change the horsepower of something, or you want to change this part, which changes something else, the unfortunate thing is 95% of the time we're going to tell people you got to submit data with it.
Right.
And I know that's difficult because some people don't want to give up their data because they don't want you to see they don't want you to see their data. They don't want you to see how they're doing on track. And
For the good and the bad.
right. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. And for the most part, people are patient and people do get upset when things get turned down. But I mean, it's just going to take time, patience, and data. So,
And then you have idiots like me who put in rules requests to update the rules request form.
yes, I will never forget that time.
And then, because you want data, but our current form only lets you type 3 sentences.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I fixed it, but they didn't want to use it. And then I sent in a rules request for all the typos.
Yes, it's there's a lot of hands in the pot when it comes to writing these rules and
Oh, yeah.
the history of it and the changing of the cars, from the golden era stuff to, now Kevin Helms with his new Civic Type R, which we're desperately trying to figure out where he can go, how he can fit in without saying, hey, choke your engine way down and put 205 50 tires on it.
Right.
I mean, you want to
At 3,700 pounds or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you want to make it fun for them, but I just, maybe we need to bring back Honda Challenge Unlimited, but will that bring anybody else out? Who knows, but it's hard to make everybody happy, that's for sure. But we want to see Kevin Helms stay in Honda Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just, we'll work on it. It just takes time. So,
But not just that. You're looking at the Evolution, the new A-Spec or whatever, the Integra A-Spec.
Mm-hmm.
Same engine, right? Basically. We want to sustain the class forever,
Mm-hmm.
right? And to do that in our type of racing, it's not spec Miata where one day they're going to be like, this is the new Miata, right?
Right.
We're trying to make hunters square body Honda Accord wagon equalize with your, what is that, a 2000 Civic Coupe with a K Series in H2? Then you open up the H1 rules. H2 is pretty tame. This is your horsepower cap. Live with it.
Right.
Okay. But in H1, it's sort of like the world's your oyster. It's a builder's class, sort of.
Right. I mean,
the problem is Honda's giving you a really excellent canvas to work on with some of these new cars.
Right.
That the older cars can't necessarily keep up with. You know, I don't think a B series is going to compete in H1 ever again.
Right. It would definitely be very, very difficult, I think. So
it's cost prohibitive to buy the parts.
Right.
And then Lord knows how much you have to put into it just to make it competitive. You know, sleeving blocks and sending your head out to get CNC ported, all that stuff. And then Brian Bradfield will drive around you with a J series, you know. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that thing's pretty, it definitely drives around and away from you. I found out out at Summit last
Even
weekend,
with all your K series torques.
Hey, but he was impressed, though. I mean, he said, you know, it pulls hard in the corner. So, you know, maybe I'll let you drive it one day.
I bet it pulls harder in the corners than mine because
well,
I know
it's fresh. So
I know you complained about mine pulling your C5 in the corners. So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely a noticeable thing, you know, when you're in the C5, and I think my car was like 189, 130 foot-pounds. And, you know, I literally was like laughing out loud to myself in the car when we would come out of a corner and you would just, you know, I mean, but we don't, you know, the rules aren't built based on torque, and hopefully they never will be. That's just the choice people are going to have to make with their setups, you know. I mean, for me, I feel like some of these B series guys, if they go to K series, they're going to be super dangerous. They're going to be very fast.
Oh yeah.
You know, but speed breeds speed. So, you know, I'm all for it.
I think they'll make the transition one day. There's no way they.
I mean, you can't sustain spending, you know, $5,000-$6,000 on an engine just to possibly blow it up, and then OEM parts are like next to impossible to find.
Right.
You know, unless we revamp the rule book 100%, just throw it out and start over. You know, it's going to be hard to get what you want. So,
I mean, the price of these C5s, I think you can get a billet block and head.
Right.
Aftermarket billet block and head to put your crank in, and then
but the rules have to allow that.
They have to. So, you're right.
And I'm open to anything, but you know, you have, I don't know how many people, 6, 7, 8 people that we have to satisfy, and some people have way more knowledge than me. You know, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know everything. Sometimes I get a rules request and I need to go look up what they're talking about. You know, I mean, yes, I've enjoyed racing cars for years and driving cars, but you know, I'm not the most knowledgeable guy on the rules committee by any means. So,
well, I would like every car has to be shiny. So you're a professional at that. We can get that done, right?
Yeah. Or we just wrap it, you know.
Well,
but yeah. So if people don't know, my business is Shine and Line, and we do auto detailing, spray on bed liners,
undercoating,
ceramic coating, paint corrections, all things protection for vehicles. So there's my plug for the business. But
don't put your beer on his car.
Yeah, especially on my aluminum wing, you know, from 9 Lives Racing, not sponsored.
Yeah, come on, Johnny, let's get with it here.
Yeah, but if I do have to give a shout out to somebody, it's Illusions Wraps.
Yeah,
you know, they are, you know, top of the line guys. So I definitely appreciate everything that they've done for me. Has been incredible. So
I mean, we're literally recording on the bed of your freshly wrapped K truck.
Yep. They killed it, man. I mean, if you guys need your race cars wrapped, I'll let you know where to go. So
yeah, Mike's got matchy cars. Zach's car even matches. Yeah. They do good work. So,
well, the owner taught me it's all about branding. and that's what I'm trying to do, is brand the business and have some fun while I'm at it. If I can't be fast, I might as well look good. So
Yeah, but now you're doing both.
I'm trying. The it's exceptional.
So,
but it's legal. I promise.
I'm not. Okay, so this will blend a couple of the topics we've been into, because we get we're family at the track, even outside the track. I think we're family, and every family has dysfunctional pieces, and they don't always agree, right? But people like, all right.
So we don't know where it turned off.
No, we don't know where it turned off. Some technical difficulties, but we'll go back to the last topic, in that we're pretty much a big family in the Mid-Atlantic region. And it's that time of year where we get the rules requests. We get all these, people get spicy, right? We're not racing anymore. They think they should have been faster. Somebody else should have been faster, whatever. We get the Facebook group going. And because we're a big family, like, we don't always agree. We don't always like each other. But I think we're amenable, right? So when you get the rules request, let's not talk about the rules request. When somebody thinks somebody is cheating, what's the process that we should go through?
So the process that you definitely need to go through is filling out a protest form, pinpointing the exact part that you think is causing this person to have this excess power, or whatever you think that they're doing.
Right.
You have to pinpoint one thing. You can't just turn in a form and say, this guy's running 2 seconds faster than me, tear down his entire car and find out what it is. You need to say this person has an illegal intake or whatever,
Right.
And that's the only way that I'll do it, just because of the past. I got a talking to about trying to do some research on a complaint that I received about another driver. There's a set rule. There's set rules that, I have to follow too,
right.
And I was trying to be friendly, and unfortunately with my job as a series director, yes, you guys are all my friends. We're buddies. We hang out, have a couple cold ones after the race, whatever. But I have to separate, myself from the friendship side when it comes to policing you guys and compliance. So I try to do some research, on a part that somebody said was illegal. I shouldn't have done it that way. It needs a protest form, and it's done by the book. I don't remember exactly what the fee is, but the person that submits the protest form has to pay X amount of money.
I think it's only like $50.
Right. So if you...
And you have 30 minutes post-race to do it.
Yes, exactly. And so that's the process.
I'm pretty sure you also have to tell them that it's illegal before you protest them, or say you have concerns with it.
Yeah.
According to the Honda Challenge rules.
Right. Yeah. But you definitely get, I could see some, validity to it if, somebody that's super fast is getting pulled on by another person. They're equal drivers, but for some reason this other person is pulling on them pretty hardcore, whether it's coming out of the corners or on the back straight or whatever. I could see, that, but most of us mid-pack drivers, if we accuse somebody that regularly runs 3 seconds faster than we do, it doesn't make any sense. At that point, for me, it's not, those people aren't cheating. Us mid-pack people just need to get faster.
Absolutely.
I could compare my data to Chris's data all day long, and, he's going to blow me away. It's easy for me to say, well, he's cheating because he's super fast and I'm not, that's why, there has to be a protest form. You have to put it in writing, and, we'll work it out.
Be specific. So it's this part violating this rule number.
Yes.
Here's my $50 check with my form that you get at the tech shed.
Right.
And then things will escalate from there.
Yeah. And, at the start of my being the series leader, I was very lenient on compliance, just checking weight and, socks and, whatever, I just.
Yeah, but at Nationals, didn't somebody get busted?
Somebody wasn't wearing socks at Nationals, and it's not a disqualification, thankfully for them, and I feel like, when I went around and said, show me your socks, there were people that were like shocked that I asked that, and it's just a keeping you on your toes thing. I don't want you to get disqualified for not wearing socks, but we
also don't want you to get burned extra.
Safety equipment is a bit, it's important. So, but yeah, so, fill out the form if you have an issue and, we'll work it out because I want to catch people cheating. I don't want to catch people cheating, but I want to catch people cheating. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
if they're doing it, you want to catch them at it.
Right. It's club racing. I don't know what you're cheating for. If you win the region, it's $1,000 in Toyo dollars, I think. And
my $5 piece of plastic.
Right.
Or wood or whatever it is.
I just don't, they always say, winning isn't everything. And for me, I'd rather have a great battle with somebody like Hunter. The last time when we were battling at VIR, he beat me by 0.1 seconds, I think. I would rather have that all day long than, gap the field by 5 seconds and be out there by myself, especially in club racing. If we were getting paid to do this, fine. Let me gap the field all day long, but I'll just say it now. I cannot stand people who cheat. And if I catch you cheating in my region, the country's going to know about it. Chris Gabetto said, your race license will be suspended indefinitely. Your story, your name, your picture will go in NASA Speed News. And you'll never race with NASA again. And probably not with any other organization. Why? Because you had to get that first place plastic piece of that trophy. It doesn't, it's dumb, and you're robbing the other people that are really putting their heart and soul into it and trying to win on their skills alone,
And car development. So I wanted to get into that.
Yeah.
Because we had a conversation offline that it wasn't part of the deleted airwaves, but sometimes we get the accusation that H2 is too fast.
Yeah, I've definitely heard those rumblings before.
It's usually annually about this time on Facebook.
Yeah. And I'll tell you why H2 is so fast. And we are fast. Even the slow guys are fast. You compare times from now to, 6-7 years ago. We're fast.
Yes.
And our front runners are even faster. Mm-hmm. Some of them are faster than H1 guys. And I'll tell you why. It's because of research and development. H1, I'm sure at some point was a huge, super fun class, but when you have 70% of Honda Challenge running H2, all the development is going into the rule sets, how the cars are set up according to those rules, driving the car to its limits based on those rules. That's why H2 is so fast.
Well, and look at the consumable rate. Okay, so an H2 car will chew through tires in X amount. I guarantee the H1 cars go through it faster.
Mm-hmm.
All of it, brakes, tires, all the consumables, okay? But H2 is in that pocket where it's still, let's just call it affordable, to do practice days. And they do.
Right.
Our front runners, our mid-pack guys, they do practice days.
Oh, and people don't know it because some of these guys will do practice days without telling anybody.
Absolutely.
Friday at the track at Summit Point, at 5:00 at night, they'll send a picture at the track, and they've been there all day, developing things. One guy went out, I won't name any names, but he tested angles of the wing. You can't do that on a race weekend. Right. You can adjust it if you want, but that's not the smart time to do it. These guys are putting in hours and hours of development, practice days to hone this class.
Yeah, and they're collecting copious amounts of data.
Right.
They're poring over it. They're eliminating things to try. They're highlighting new areas to try, and they're doing it.
Right. And then, another one, people will probably be shocked to hear this, but there's one driver that I know, there might be more, but he has different spring rates for each corner of his car, depending on what track he's at. That's insane research and development to me.
Yep.
And he's an H2 guy.
Yep.
If he brought that same, idea to H1, I'm sure whatever H1 car he drives would eventually be a rocket ship. Mm-hmm. But H1 will get there. Ryan Bradfield is doing his thing with the, his car, and that car in a couple of years, I think is going to be beyond fast.
Yeah.
And hopefully it brings, the other H1 guys out of the woodworks. I know Justin is, he spent a lot of time and money on his car and had an unfortunate incident at VIR, but I'm sure once he's back online, him and Bradfield hopefully will be battling each other at VIR and Summit, and maybe bring more Southeast guys up, or maybe there'll be a crossover event. I don't know. But you can't sit here and complain about a class being fast when we've been developing, just in Mid-Atlantic, since 2016, we've been developing this class 7 years, going on 8 years. Other regions have had H2 they never had a gap, where there was no H2 guys or, Honda Challenge guys. But we're only going to get faster. That's all there is to it.
Absolutely.
I don't even know what else to say about that, but I don't like people that cheat. And, sometimes I'm soft, I'll admit it, it's hard for me sometimes as a competitor to go through your car. I'm going to go through your car. I'm going to search, trace all your wires. I'm going to do all this, and then I'm going to go get in my race car and drive. Sometimes that's a little hard for me, and some people probably don't like that, but I'm an open book. If you want to get in my car and check it out and unplug stuff and plug it back in, and, if I trust you, you can take it out for a lap, I'll do that. Just because I'm the compliance guy doesn't mean that I'm only checking your stuff. I disqualified myself 2 seasons ago at Hyperfest.
Yep.
I was 3 horsepower over. Didn't have the weight to cover it.
In a C5, you were over horsepower?
Only by 3. And it was the weather. I swear it was the weather. Because that car never made over 190. And it made like 192 and a half or something. And I was the series leader. And that's where my integrity level is. I could have easily, because the first run, the map or whatever, the graph, it was like scribble. Mm-hmm. And in the rule book, it says if the compliance director believes that there's something wrong with the dyno, I can throw it out.
Right. And
based on the first graph, I could have been like, no, I'm good. My car, something's not right, but I disqualified. And I won that race and I disqualified myself. So that's where my integrity level is. If anybody ever doubts it, but just don't get caught cheating. Don't cheat. Don't get caught cheating, and we won't have an issue.
As a competitor in the region, I can say I definitely appreciate your integrity on this issue.
Yeah. I work hard to try to get fast, and, if somebody feels like they need a map switch to beat me, I don't know how they can go home at night with a first place trophy and be like, I'm the best. When you're not, you suck. I don't mean to be mean about it, but that's just the truth. So
yeah, Honda Challenge is not NASCAR of the 70s, right? Like we're not testing a rule book here. We're operating within the rule book.
Right. And there is, being within the spirit of the rules and not within the spirit of the rules and finding loopholes, and, it is what it is. until it's black and white on the paper, I mean, you just have to abide by it. If you find a loophole, use it until it's either approved or not approved.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy my job as a series leader.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of fell into my lap because Naveen gave it over to me. And, I mean, I would go to Utah if NASA wanted me to. I'd fly out there. I'm not going out there to race, but I would go out there as the Honda Challenge guy again. And, I really enjoyed nationals, meeting people, and, just, yes, I would have rather been racing, but, being there for the guys, having information when they needed it, all this, that's all fun to me, so I would definitely go to Utah if they asked me to.
Were you the series leader and compliance person for Honda Challenge?
So I was the series leader, and then I had to come up with compliance.
Okay.
But they had other people checking compliance. The only thing I wish we had a couple different tools. There were other things I wanted to check that I couldn't check. But I will be bringing that stuff to our region this year. I won't say what it is, but we'll keep people on their toes.
Don't be like Cabeto and tell me I have to bleep stuff later. So.
No. Listen, I'm an open book right now. Of course, there are things that I want to say that I have learned as a quote unquote employee of NASA.
Yeah.
That I can't say. One involves one of our racers. I mean, some things aren't fair, and hopefully they get resolved and I can put it to bed, but I'm really passionate about that issue. That's all. I can't say anything else.
Good, because I don't even know what you're talking about. So we'll just let that one fly, and if they listen, they'll know what you're talking about, right? So.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's my feelings on compliance and catching people cheating, and being the guy.
There literally is no reason to cheat in any class.
No, and people will say if you're not cheating, you're not trying. I don't know how they do it in the drag race world and circle track racing. The cars are apparently supposed to be built to be the same, power to weight, blah, 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 whatever, but some people are honestly just good drivers.
Oh yeah.
And they believe in their brakes, which I don't. My brake, I've lost brakes 2 or 3 times at Summit. Mm-hmm. I'm on a completely different setup now, but I'm still not confident in going in there super deep and getting on the brakes. And that's where I'm losing a crap ton of time.
Me too.
And until I get there, everybody's just going to be faster than me. So, and my red line needs to be moved up a little bit. My rev limiter, stupid 7,500 RPMs.
It's not 9,000 anymore, or 88 or 85, whatever you were running that C5 to. It's different.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun though. I really enjoy the K series life. I never thought I would say that, but
yeah, I would never thought I'd hear you say it. I was a little shocked when you said you were going to try it out.
Well, I think the main thing that allowed me to try it out was having this second car. Mm-hmm. Backstory on the car: I bought it from PB. Had a B16 in it. It was race ready. I raced it once at VIR, and it was underpowered and overweight, but I had fun finishing last. And
I don't think you were last in the car, but okay.
And then I let one of my buddies drive it or race it actually, and he hit a tire wall with it. So
this is that aspect of family we have.
Yeah, here, drive my race car, but and it is what it is. When you let somebody drive your car, that's the risk you take. Unless you sign a contract saying, if you bend my car, you're going to pay for it.
Right.
But most of the time it's take this thing out there and then it was an accident, what happened to him with the rain and stuff. I have zero ill will, even though, you come out of, you're under yellow and you come over the hill and you see your other car and the tire wall. You're like, I hope he's okay so I can kick his ass, But, so having the second car kind of allowed me to have an opportunity to do the K series, because I absolutely would not put one in the Type R, because it's a true Type R, even though it's not I have the original engine, but I didn't want to do that to the Type R.
It's Mike's retirement plan. Bring a trailer.
Yeah.
In like
we'll see.
50 years when he's too arthritic to wash a car.
Well, if you peel that wrap off, it's a little, it's not so pretty under there. But I did sell a couple engines to partially fund the new build, the new K-Series build. And I went overboard, but Adam, 00 Civic, that his...
00 Civic.
Yeah, he touched on something in his podcast. You didn't think I listened. But he touched on something in his podcast about, if you can afford it, spend it right the first time. If you can get the good parts the first time, get them, because you're going to get them eventually.
Yep.
And I work weekends and extra overtime and sold some engine parts, or sold a couple engines, and to build that thing. And did I go overboard? Probably, but it's worth it. It's fun. So if you can afford it, do it. Get the right parts the first time, so.
Yeah, I mean, everybody operates on a different budget. So everybody was like, oh my God, you built a car and, over the winter for me, basically. Right. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I did. But I had a very strict budget. Mm-hmm. And if I saved money somewhere else, it was going somewhere, to improve another part somewhere. So.
Right. And that's why some of us are dedicated to doing this more than others are. I mean, for me, honestly, if I have a choice of spending money on one thing or spending it on racing, I want to spend it on racing. Yeah. I'm older, than some of the people that we race with, and I couldn't afford to have this kind of fun when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I want to do it now, but I don't want to bring like the mood down, but we had some tragedies in the family, extended family. And, it really made me see that life is super short. Mm-hmm. Like, you never know, we could finish this podcast and I could die in the back room, but it showed me that, if you're going to do something, if you want to do something, do it. If you have the means to do it, do it, I'm not saying like take out your 401k and travel the world, but I mean something as small as let's build this new race car. Let's reignite the flame. Mm-hmm. Because sure, the Type R was a blast to drive, but driving that car for I don't know how
over 10 years.
Yeah, over 10 years. It was time to learn something new, make it feel exciting, drive something new. And I feel like I'm a rookie again. I'm born again, into this racing. And even though I went back into H2, which, Ryan Bradfield said, don't do that. Everybody races H2. There's a whole bunch of people that I want to race with. It feels new to me again. I think if I still was driving the Type R, I don't think I would go to Sebring in December. I did that.
Right.
But this thing it's new. So, but if you have the means to do it, even if it's just track time, DE stuff, do it.
Yeah. Do more track time.
Yeah. I mean, do what makes you happy, and I don't know, for me, it's racing or track days, hanging out with my friends, there's nothing better than that to me. So, and I don't like to go on vacation.
Sorry, Monica.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at now. So
awesome. Well, I think that'll wrap it up. We'll splice this thing together.
Yeah. I
really appreciate you coming on for your episode. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Because it is your episode 51.
I don't think so. I mean, if there's anybody out there that is interested in getting into Honda Challenge, you can reach out to me, mahondachallenge@gmail.com, Instagram, track that shit, Facebook, track that shit. I don't know. We never really talked about the whole track that shit thing. And
Yeah,
how
let's
that
talk
came
about it. It's your brand, much to the chagrin of my parents, but whatever.
Yeah. So I did want to talk about this though, because people always, they either hate it or they love it. They see it in public and they're offended by the word shit or whatever, but it was never meant to be vulgar. It basically came about during the DE days. It was, if you're street racing or, racing on the back roads or whatever, basically like, no, man, track that shit, or, whatever. It was meant to like say, hey, man, take your car to the track. Don't go doing dangerous stuff on the road or whatever. And actually, when I made the account for Instagram, it got deleted because it had the word shit in it.
Okay.
So I had to email Instagram and explain to them, what it was all about or whatever.
It's promoting going to the safe spot. Not,
right. Yeah.
Not doing dangerous things on the street.
Right. Exactly.
And they let it fly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they emailed me back and they were like, okay, whatever. And they reopened the account and, I've sold T-shirts and stickers and stuff and, not for profit. I don't think I've ever made $1. In fact, I know I spent money shipping out T-shirts.
Right.
But it's nice to know that somewhere in Ireland, there's a guy with a track that shit sticker on his car, and when I tell people sometimes when I meet them, talking about the car or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, if you're on Instagram, it's track that shit. And they know it, they've been to the account or they follow the account. It's not huge, like 3,000 followers or something, but it's 3,000 people that like the same thing, except for the bot followers. But I try to delete those.
Me too.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram, track that shit. Facebook, track that shit, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions about people that are wanting to come into Honda Challenge. I always tell people just come out for a weekend or a day, Saturday, and just show up in your car and hang out, maybe get a ride along. That's how I got hooked. Andy Meek was the first ride along I ever had at CMP, and I thought it was the most insane thing ever. He was cool as a cucumber. Shifted gears and then put his hand on his lap going around the carousel one-handed. I mean, you're not supposed to do it like that, but, he took me out and, it was awesome. And then my first track weekend, Andy Meek's dad was my instructor and he's well known. And it's nice to see Andy still at the track.
Yeah.
I think he's he works with Kevin Helms now. So he quit his job at the one place, I don't think I should name it, but now he's working with Kevin Helms and seems
Honda
happy.
Works.
So yeah, is it
Asia Works?
Asia Works. Yeah, I didn't want to.
His race team is Honda Works.
Yeah,
the business is Asia Works.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody at Honda got butthurt about it.
I'm surprised we're still allowed to call ourselves Honda Challenge. But,
yeah, no.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, little plug there for track that shit. And,
Shine in Line. Down here in Fredericksburg.
Yeah, I definitely have done work for a lot of the guys in the Mid-Atlantic, and I'm down to give discounts to all NASA guys, NASA people, non-NASA people. You come in, tell me you heard the podcast.
I have to bleep that, but yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, man. I mean, I know I gave you a lot of crap about doing this. Not wanting to do this, but I think I just ramble and sound like an idiot when I talk.
Nah, you're fine. I do it every week. So multiple times a week sometimes I just ramble and people listen. The object is to get information out there and help keep that fire going, help people get faster. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know how knowledgeable I was in this little.
Somebody out there needs that fire re-sparked.
Yeah.
Somebody out there needs to understand how this rules process and how to engage your series leader. They need to know that because they're tripping up on something.
Yeah.
There's details. Not every detail that's going to make you faster is behind the steering wheel because sometimes you're holding yourself back. Sometimes it's a head game. Sometimes I need to talk to my series leader. I don't understand how, whatever. So it's not always squiggly data points on in your aim stuff.
Seat time.
Seat time's big.
I mean, I guarantee you all these guys that are faster than me all have way more seat time than I do.
Absolutely. That's why my goal next year is to do some sort of seat time and race every month.
I mean, I'm terrible at taking notes and checking data, and I'm terrible at that stuff. I do tire pressures, and on the old car I would make suspension adjustments based on oversteer and understeer. Mm-hmm. But every year I say I'm going to make notes, and I feel like this year I'm going to do more of that because I feel just reborn into this thing. I mean, it's great. So building this car was the best decision I've ever made.
Awesome.
So,
and I'll definitely share my pre and post race session checklist with you.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate it. I mean, maybe that's my problem. I just can't come up with something. I need somebody to be like, here you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy. You fill out what you know, what you want to know, mm-hmm. and then you record the same thing after the event, after the session. Yeah. Notate whether you did it in hot pits or at the paddock, just so you have a reference. Is it post compliance also? Like those are notes you need to take.
Yeah, and that's the other difficult thing about being the compliance director and being a racer is I have to be at the tech shed. Come off track, be at the tech shed. So I don't know. I'll have to work it out. Maybe get somebody to come hang out with me and help me. So.
Until we get Mark straightened out.
Yeah. He'll be back. I'm confident.
Me too. If you're confident, I'm confident. You just tell me who to yell at.
If we we're not getting into it. All right.
All right, Mike. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
You're welcome, man. Thank you.
Until next time, keep working on yourself. Keep working on the car. And let's get faster.